Zombie apocalypse.
Vive la France! We are back with another video, and today we are going to talk about a team that's quite close to my heart. The good old Bretonnians, the good old French Frances. Love them to bits. It's a bit odd when I thought about doing this video because I haven't really played much of brets, and then I ended up taking a 5-6 game Bretonnian team to the PS4 final, where we was cruelly beaten by a crowd throw in overtime. So in homage to Griff Oberwald, who was a fantastic superstar for me, I called them In Griff We Trust. So today we're going to just have a quick look at the Bretonnian team. We'll look at the rosters, and then I'll tell you which roster I would take to the Cyanide official cup competition on the consoles and the PC. And then after that we'll have a look at the skill ups, and how I would go about skilling my players up to give the best chance of winning. So that's basically what we do. Obviously my name is Benny Buffon, and obviously I'm a PS4 admin, and I played Bloodbowl, oh god, over 20 years, easy over 20 years. And what I'm doing is doing all 24 race videos, just to give you guys a few different tips and help as best I can. So without further ado, let's get on with this video about the Batarians. So the first build sees you with 4 blitzers, 2 blockers, and then 5 linemen. In this build, you do get the 3 nice rerolls. I love it when I can have 3 rolls to start off with. Obviously, blitzers do most of the ball carrying and everything. I mean, they come with block, catch, and dauntless, so it's a nice mix of 3 skills. They are quite expensive, though, 110. And my biggest bugbear is they're in full plate armor, and they only have armor 8. Work that one out. I do believe they should have armor 9, but that's for another day. Then you've got your blockers. You can have up to 4 blockers, but unfortunately we can't afford 4, so we've got 2, and they come with wrestle, and have decent armor as well with armor 8. And then you just got your cheap old peasants, 40k piece, and they come with a much underrated skill, Fend, what I think is fantastic. The second roster we're going to have a look at when it pops itself up. Basically splits it. So you have, instead of 4 blitzers, you have 3 blitzers, 3 blockers, 5 obviously peasants, linemen. But in this build, you get the 3 team rolls, but also for the added bonus, you get an apothecary, what is fantastic. Because the last thing you want to see is one of your blitzers get splattered first game, and not have an apothecary to save him. So this is a really nice, well balanced roster in my opinion. And the final roster sees you have all 4 blitzers, all 4 blockers, and just the 3 peasants. The only downside to this roster is obviously only 2 rerolls and no apothecary again, but this gives you all the maximal positionals you can wish for, and you also have 20k in the bank, so you're just 30k away from getting yourself an apothecary. The only concern is obviously after your first game, your team rerolls do double up in cost, so you're looking to find 140k to get yourself a 3rd team reroll. On the plus side, obviously you've got wrestle and you've got block on 8 of the 11 pieces, so apart from failing dodges and double skulls, most of the time you'll be okay and not having to use a reroll. So this is one of them builds where having 2 rerolls isn't that bad, to be fair. Right, which roster would I take? To be honest, I'd be quite comfortable with any 3 of them. I think the roster I took for the cup was this one, and then I added on to them. 4 blitzers, 2 blockers, and 5 linemen. So I'd probably just go with this build, but like I say, all 3 builds are good. Right then, so you've got your roster. You picked your roster out of these 3. How do we skill them up? Right, let's have a look then, shall we? Let's start off with the blitzers. Right, this is basically your passing build. If you want one of these blitzers to be a passer, this is how you build him. Obviously, he already comes with block and catch, and he also comes with dauntless. So the first skill you want to get is pass, and because now they've got access to agility. See, they never used to have access to agility, and I'm very happy they've changed it, because now they get agility on a single roll, Bretonnians are a lot more competitive. So obviously pass on a singles roll, you can get accurate as well. On a double, you should be looking for strong arm. And then other skills, safe throws are always useful to try and stop it from being intercepted, especially if you're throwing into traffic. And dodge as well is always useful, because obviously blodge on a blitzer is always good. So you know, that's a good little combination. I mean, like I say, I don't personally build any of my Bretonnians to be passers. I like to run the ball, and like I said, all 4 blitzers have catch, so you can hand off, as is a much better option in my opinion. So that's what I would do. Right, if you want a killer, they're not easy to get, because obviously strength is a double. So you need 2 doubles really, because obviously you'll want Mighty Blow and you'll want Piling On. Like I say, you can get them. Like I said, you got 4 blitzers, so there's a good chance one of them will roll a double early doors, and whichever one rolls it, that's the one you pray they'll get another double later on. Obviously you've got Frenzy as well. That's another good chance to get 2 bites of the cherry, and then obviously you've got Tackle, but basically gives you more chance of taking out like dodges and stuff like that. So the blodgers, the catchers, the ball carriers of the opponent's team. And then there's a couple of other skills if they get that far. Pro lets you, if you get pushes, then Pro on the 4+ can basically just give you an attempt of a free reroll, and if it fails, you don't lose nothing. And then obviously Dodge helps you position and disengage from one target to attack another target, and also it'll help having Blodge will keep him alive much more longer, because obviously if you've got a killer on the pitch, your opponents are going to dial up and try and hurt these players. So him having dodge will help. The third build we're going to have a look at is basically a prime ball carrier. I would still start off probably off with dodge to make him blodge pretty quickly. Then I'd be looking at show hands, because obviously that'll protect you from strip balling, and then also it saves on rerolls to pick the ball up as well. So have a nice built-in reroll to try and put the ball up on 3+ is always good. And sure feet and sprint. Obviously sprint gives you an extra square, so it gives you potential movement of 10. And obviously your sure feet, that basically makes it a lot more safer to go for it. Fend's another skill, so if someone does hit you, then at least you can get distance between yourself and the guy who's hit you. So, it's a pretty good skill. And all of these blitzes as well, while we're going on, let's just see if I can show you. On characteristics, strength is fantastic. Always take strength. Agility is great as well. Movement allowance is a lot better on your ball carrier, but I wouldn't say no on any of them. The only one I'd be a bit not really take is the armor value. Again, armor value I'd take very late on in the piece. I think when you've got blodge blitzers, that's a lot better to try and keep you protected than extra armor. And like I say, most of the things they'll be doing damage will be the Mighty Blow claw pieces anyway. So, So, I mean, like I say, that's the sort of build I'd be looking for if I was going for a ball carrier anyway. And the 4th build is basically a defensive build where, again, you've got your dodge, so you get yourself blodge straight away. I think it's really important to get dodge on these 4 blitzers as soon as possible, because they're only agility 3, but you want them, they need to be able to be moving around and disengaging when as safely as possible. Sidestep and diving tackle would be the next two because they go well together, so you can actually engage the scoring threat or the ball carrier, and if they don't get you down, bearing in mind you've got blodge bar now, then you stay to your target, and if they want to dodge, it's a -2 thanks to diving tackle. Tackle obviously works well in synergy with diving tackle, and obviously if we get this far, I think pass block's pretty good as well on your defensive build, because obviously, like I've said before in a few of the other builds, if you got diving tackle there, if you can't get in front of the guy they're throwing it to, then even if you go to the side of him, you give him -1 to the catch, and then he'd have to disengage from you, and you've got diving tackle, so it'd be -2 to dodge away from you. So it's always good to have one of these builds, and like I say, because they've got blodge, they can still run with the ball and do all the other tasks as well. So, you know, these are a good all-rounder. Right, your blockers. So your blockers are the ones what bring in the guard, because you need guard in this team. It's hard to get guard with your blitzers, so this is why your blockers are there. They start off with wrestle, and you could build all four like this, and you wouldn't go far wrong. Give them guard, stand firm, and then you're looking at mighty blow. If you get roll double, take dodge, because a blodge wrestle piece is a pain in the backside with stand firm. And like I said, these just work well together. The next one basically shows you can actually make a blocker into a pretty good, decent piece to go after the ball. Wrestle, leap, yeah, it's going to be 4+ leap, but you know what? It's still a 50-50, isn't it? And if you've got a reroll, you've got a chance, because if you get into the cage, a standard cage, you've got wrestle, you've got strip ball, you've got tackle, you've got a very, very good chance, even on a red dart block, of getting the ball loose. And this is what this guy's built for. Like I said, I've never had this build, but you know, I won't put anyone off it. I just probably think that, you know what, I need as much guard as possible, and these are the only guys who can take guard on a normal roll. That would be the only thing what would put me off this. This build is like a bit of a killer build, you know, like we said about, you know, you could go the kill build with the blitzers, but you need 2 doubles. Well, with your blockers, you don't need doubles. The strength's obviously just a normal roll. The only problem with that is obviously you've got wrestle, so you haven't got block, and I sort of begrudge using one of my skills to get block. But again, mighty blow piling on, then you can get tackle, there's frenzy, you can even go dauntless, guard. All these skills all work well together, or are useful. I mean, dauntless is a bit of a because obviously you've already got 4 blitzers with dauntless. But if you wanted to go after black orcs and trolls and stuff like that, then obviously this guy needs dauntless. Like I said, again, it's another way to build a blocker. Now then, we're on to the Llamanos. I like to call them peasants. Now, they all come with fend. They're only armor 7, and they're agility 2. What's garbage, obviously. What you will normally see is data play on quite a few of them, because they're cheap. They're only 40k. Give them data play, makes them 60k, and I'd have a couple of these pieces for sure, because at the end of the day, that's what they're there for. Peasants are there to foul, and if they can take off a really dangerous piece, or anything like 100k piece onwards, then they've done the job. It'll also pull off pile-on pieces as well, because I know they're going to get stamped on. Your standard build is block and fend. Again, you could put these on the LAN, or you could use wrestle and fend as well. Just basic standard. I've only given them one skill just because they don't live very long. And here you go. If you roll double, I strongly recommend getting guard, because that is what you are severely lacking. And the more guard you can get in the Bretonnian team, the lot easier it'll be for you. Obviously, give them block as well. If they live past this, then, well, tackle is another option you can go for. That's pretty good. I don't know, would I go for pro? What else have we got? Yeah, tackle would probably be the next thing I'd go for. Then you're looking at things maybe pro, dauntless. For a laugh you could go frenzy, but the thing with peasants is you only really need a couple of skills, and that's it. Anything else is TV bloat. So block and guard to me are the best ones. If I rolled another double, I'd be tempted to take dodge. And here's the line of scrimmage. sort of build I'd go with. Fend and wrestle, fantastic, because obviously, you know, it's always helpful when you can take down pieces on the line of scrimmage, and usually you'll find that the opposition on their drive will have some of their best pieces on the line of scrimmage to try and do enough damage. So if you can get like piling on pieces or killer pieces on the floor, that's fantastic. And if you can obviously manipulate the field and get a few fouls in there early doors, try and take them off the pitch, even better. After wrestle, I'd go with tackle, because then obviously it gives you the synergy of if the ball carrier is nearby, you've got a great option to get the ball loose as well. Now, obviously, you've got the option of kick. I don't personally think kick's too important on a Bretonnian team. Your fastest movement is 7, but obviously the standard build, if you go for kick, you can't hurt, and obviously after kick, you go with block. And that basically is the team with the Bretonnians. Like I said, I've had so much fun with the Bretonnians. And if you got a spare, what is it, 320 grand, I strongly recommend getting Bloodbowl, because he is an absolute superstar in this team. If you're looking for inducements for your enhancements for your stadium, you could go on the Nuffle Altar, so star players are 50 grand cheaper, what could be quite useful. But there's really nothing what stands out to me for them. Could go with Brabs, so your Peasants got a free Brab, but then again, your opponent gets a free Brab and gives him the you basically encouraging him to stamp all of your blitzers. So really, I won't bother with the Brab, because obviously you've got Peasants for that, they're nice and cheap. Even if they've got better play, it's only 40k you're losing, and you're gonna, after about 5-10 games, hopefully you'll have a decent bench with lots of Peasants anyway. So have a look about. There's not really any particular one. I like just taking the security gate, just so I can, if I score 10-16 or score 10-8, I can set my defense up knowing there's not going to be an extra 10, and I think that's always a massive help. And that's the good thing about blockers as well, because if you give them stand firm and you put 3 of them on the front line, and people trying to do a 1-turner, if they haven't got Juggernaut, they ain't going to be able to, because they won't be able to move any of them 3 pieces. So that's another bonus for having stand firm on your blockers. So that's basically the Batarians. Like I said, please subscribe to the channel, because obviously it makes it a lot more easier. So then obviously it'll tell you when all the videos are going on, because we're doing all 24 races. I've already done the 8 legendary and various other normal races like the orcs, the high elves, dwarfs, to name a few. And obviously when the competition starts, the Cyanide Cup, but hopefully it'll be starting on Wednesday, we've been told. Then we'll be doing the weekly Cyanide Cup talk show, and I'll be with quite a lot of coaches who play in the Sea Ladder. Like I think we've got the champion, Gimlick Swede, the PS4 champion, who's just won it with his Necromantics. He'll be on one of the shows, as will the fantastic Teddy Tom, who seems to be able to predict the future and tells you exactly who's going to win the cups, like he did last season. And hoping to get a few of the guys like Bezo, who's regarded as one of the best Lizardman coaches on the PS4, and hopefully we'll get a few of the champions and the big deals like Merciflush on board as well. So that's me done. Like I say, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye. Remembering myself, take me right.